to the sea.
Okay, so we're back here on the show, and that was a track from Michael Moon. And Michael, you're welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So now,
ask about the sound healing thing, the world meditation thing. Do you know about that? I'll ask.
they were mentioning it last guest,
Yes.
Laura and Dave.
Do you
Did
know
you know about
that?
that?
Which?
It was like a
mean-
World Sound
Oh, yeah,
Healing
yeah.
Day,
Yeah.
and
February
I thought
14th.
Yes. Oh,
you must know about that.
I do.
For some, are you going to be involved in it?
Yeah, personally.
Yeah.
are you going to be anywhere special, or are you just going to be doing it at home?
Usually in the forest.
Oh, even I guess with the snow and everything.
Of course.
True Canadian.
Nature
Wow.
is beautiful every time of year. I mean, that's what hats and gloves and
Things
sweaters are for.
That's a very good point.
Well, let's use that as a little bit of a segue, Michael, because sound healing. I mean, you're releasing this. What is it? Triple CD.
Triple CD release,
set?
yes.
And it's all about healing,
Yes.
isn't it? Healing the planet. Can you, tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, healing the planet, it's more healing our relationship to the planet. The planet will heal itself, and if we don't heal our relationship to it, healing it will be like our body purging cancer. It will just kind of purge us. I mean, if we are so much in disharmony, so healing our relationship to the planet, creating more harmony between humanity and the planet, and that starts at a personal level with each individual.
Mm-hmm.
So the first CD I started working on was a meditation CD with the idea of creating the vibration of the earth that we could surround ourselves in sound healing through harmonic resonance, entrainment. There's different principles. You can use sound to shift our consciousness to different vibrations depending on what you put in the music. So in this case, wanting to put the resonance of the earth into music. And I'm not just talking about 7.8 hertz. I'm talking about a more complex type of resonance frequencies that would relate to earth. And so one can just put on headphones, just listen to this music and go into that experience, that feeling of the way it would feel like if you were just alone in nature, which unfortunately we don't have much of these days in our city dwellers anyways. And I know how much I've needed that for my own personal healing, and if I don't get that, my body breaks down very quickly. And so I'm very conscious of that. And so this was the initial idea of the CD, and that was the first one.
Okay, so I mean, I got a million questions already. And I think we talk about this every time you come on the show, but you mentioned 7 point what hertz?
Yes, 7.8 hertz.
What is that, the Schumann resonance?
Schumann resonance, yeah.
And is that, because isn't that changing? Isn't the Schumann resonance
Isn't it close to 13 now?
changing or moving up?
It's not exactly documented. People talk about it changing. And first of all, I've got to talk about what the Schumann resonance is.
Good idea.
It is the cavity of the atmosphere. So between the planet's surface and the top of the atmosphere is a certain amount of space. I don't remember the number of miles, but it's a thin shield around the Earth. And in that, there's a certain frequency that would resonate with that. So the actual sound wave would go up and down between the atmosphere, top of the atmosphere, and the surface of the Earth. And so when you have thousands of lightning strikes a second all over the planet, there's this energy, this vibration that's constantly put into this field, and it resonates that cavity. And it creates a 7.8 hertz resonance that all living creatures on the earth are constantly in.
So this is
Only
the sound.
way-
It's a sound essentially that we are all immersed in all the time.
Yes, it's a vibration. It's not one we can hear with our ears, but it's a sound that's sort of below that.
Okay.
Though there are ways that we can hear that by doubling it and things like that. But it is that the only way for that frequency to change is if the atmosphere and the earth change their relationship. well, there's two things. What I believe is causing a shift in that frequency is potentially all the man-made frequencies we're adding to
Like cell
the
phones?
atmosphere, like cell phones,
Okay.
cell towers. I mean, if you could see frequency, or if we could hear these frequencies, they're there. It's just our senses aren't designed to experience them. So if we could see them, we wouldn't see anything else. I mean, it would just, our whole vision would be just blurred out by
Bombarded,
all this. I mean, there's frequencies coming through from natural ones coming from the sun to the unnatural ones that we've created. And they're getting, in the last 15 years, it has increased from a very little to huge amounts.
So when you
Huge.
say
So-
frequencies, Michael, are you
Yes.
meaning sound
I
frequencies?
mean, no, sound frequencies are the frequencies we hear,
Okay.
but there's a whole spectrum of frequencies
Okay.
that if those the spectrum of frequencies, if they were as long as the continent, from the east coast to the west coast, it would be like this small little, not even the size of a city. I mean, smaller, like a very small little window of frequency that we can actually sense with our senses.
Okay.
And there's about 8 octaves, or 12 octaves or so we can hear.
Okay.
And then a 1 octave we can see.
Ah.
And then the rest is beyond our ability to physically sense.
So, okay,
But we
so
do pick it up. Our bodies do experience it, but we just don't see or hear it.
okay.
So frequency is sight, it's sound, but it's beyond all that.
So from what you're saying, but we've heard reports. What you're saying is that that Schumann frequency, there's no, well, maybe
Because
from
Greg Braden talks about a change.
yeah.
Yes.
So I guess you're saying it's due to the man-made frequencies,
I'm not
possibly.
saying it is. I'm saying that's a possibility. It makes the most sense to me that if there's a change in the Schumann resonance, unless the atmosphere is getting further from the Earth,
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Without a doubt, all the frequencies we are putting into the atmosphere are affecting us. Just like the Schumann resonance affects us. We know it affects us because when astronauts go to space and they're outside of that resonance, they get sick unless they actually put that frequency into the spaceships.
Oh, wow.
They have to put it there in order to be healthy. We need that resonance to survive.
Do
It's
they
part
know
of our food, our
what is
energetic
the
food.
resonance that's outside of that? When you say they have to put that resonance in their ships or their rockets, whatever, what is it? That's if it's 7.8 that we need. What is it? Is it higher or is it lower? That's outside the environment, the atmosphere.
Well, in space,
Do you know?
there would be all kinds of frequencies from the different stars, from the different sun, but there would be much less. It wouldn't be as strong as a specific frequency as the 7.8 hertz.
Okay, I see. Okay.
There are infinite frequencies around us, which is why in this CD I don't just put 7.8 hertz. It's much more complex than that.
Okay.
And how do you connect to the frequency of nature? It's a complex thing. The 7.8 thing is the one that has scientific research around it that we
Okay.
know is important, but there's so much more.
So, before we get to your CDs and how people can use them and the kind of presumably beneficial effect that listening to them might have, we're in this. We're experimenting with ourselves, with our environment, with this frequency situation that we've created over the last 100 years or so.
Yep.
Like, where do you think we're headed with all this? Are we going to self-destruct? Are we going to learn something from this? I mean,
Or maybe we're going to morph into some other form to match that frequency?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Okay.
I think what's most important is we recognize the importance of frequency.
Okay.
And so many things are discovering this or teaching this from different viewpoints. From homeopathy, it's frequency medicine. Sound healing, of course, is frequency medicine. Energy work, frequency medicine. There are so many studies from around the world that point to how powerful frequency affects us. because we are beings of frequency. And we're so caught up in the physical idea of matter that we forget that. And if we just, everybody got together and we started putting all this research together, you start seeing a pattern. You start seeing how important frequency is. And I think that's the first step. And as soon as we understand that, all it takes is shifting the cell phone tower frequencies to something that's healthy. If we're
Really that
conscious
easy?
about it.
It's really that easy.
Theoretically. There are people that do it.
Actually, there are. I think we've had some of them on the show here.
Huh? What is that?
Well, we had, Dr. Ibrahim Karim.
Yes, Karim was the first one I was thinking of, yes.
Yeah, and we've had him on the show, and he's fixing Montreal right now. Apparently,
Oh, great.
yeah, he lives in Montreal. He moved to Montreal.
We
And
talked about doing Toronto, but I don't know if that ever happened.
Well,
yet.
there was talk about doing it, and of course he came and spoke at the Dowsers.
Yes.
And but I think he just
Gave up on us.
he likes Montreal better.
Maybe a better frequency to start with.
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
But no, what he said really was, he said he can't do it. What he needs is a community that's behind him to do it. Really, the community has
Yes.
to do it.
Well, there's, here we start bordering on, I mean, this is a big topic and a whole separate topic by itself, but the military uses frequency as a weapon too. So how much of this is thought out, how much of it is just arbitrary? The fact is we need to be aware of it, and we need to then, once we become aware of it, we have the ability to create technologies that can use this positively.
But it sounds to me like if the military is using it, but not for beneficial reasons. Is that what you're saying?
No,
They're
they just
using
want
it
to
for-
help people.
I'm not going
So-
to get into all that.
No, but so what you're saying is we already know about it then. We're already aware of
Yes.
it, and we're already aware of how to use it. We're just not using it in a way that's necessarily beneficial. Is that what you're... Okay,
Yeah.
so
Well,
th-
most
we
people don't
already
even
understand
recognize it.
Okay, so but there is a group that does understand it, is what you're saying, that awareness
yeah.
is there.
Yeah, it's there, and I mean
Okay.
I'm using it my way in sound and in these CDs, and I know it works in this small level. If little me can do it, think of what people that really
how-
understand can
How
do.
did you learn about this, Michael? This is not something you can go to school to learn, is it?
No, it started with getting sick.
Okay, that's often the way these things
Yeah.
start.
I got very ill. I dropped out of the world for quite a while.
How old were you? Were you very young?
I was 20.
Okay.
And I think I got sick a little earlier, but that's when it really collapsed. And so I had to figure out what was going on. And in that time, I was starting to hear music inside. It would always come when I was in nature, and it kind of felt like it was coming from behind nature somehow. And at one point, I had a very strong voice tell me that I was here to translate that music, to bring it in. So I began trying to understand that. And there's also part of that message was that this was about healing humanity's relationship to the earth somehow. These are just things that came to me. I didn't know what to do. So I started studying everything I could about sound and healing.
Wow.
All these esoteric books from the 1800s, from the 70s. And they all pretty much said similar things. But they kind of went to here, and then
Stop.
nobody went further. And I was like, okay, I need to know more. And I'll never forget the first show where somebody came up to me afterwards and said, wow, I was going to leave before you started playing because I had a migraine, and I was just coming on, and these things usually, if I don't deal with them right away, they'll last for days, and something told me to stay, and as soon as you started playing, my headache left. And I was like, really? Well, that's what I want to do, but I didn't know I knew how to do it yet.
Wow. Wow.
And then I started recognizing that intention, the heart, and what I'd already learned and understood was coming through. And then I started analyzing what was happening, understanding it more deeply, and kind of in my own way, learning direct from spirit how to create sound and frequency to help heal.
Wow.
So, and I kept getting more and more affirmations over the years like that showed me I was going in the right direction. I mean, I wish I could have a university degree going, master sound healer. But no, it's just
Doesn't
it
exist,
comes from
huh?
spirit. I've learned everything I can. I continue trying to learn. I continue teaching and listening. Nature has been my greatest teacher. Being alone in nature and listening to the sounds, especially listening to, like guitar players will listen to Jimi Hendrix and try and emulate it. I'll listen to the sound of the river and the crickets and the birds and have that inform the music, but also listening behind all that. What's the
Do
feeling?
they speak to you at all? Do you get messages
yeah.
from them?
I do.
Okay, so I'm going off script here, Michael, but
We don't even have a script. What are you talking
I do have.
about?
Michael sent me a script, and
Oh.
I forgot to print it for the show.
Oh.
So we're just.
Oh,
I hope we're
oops.
hitting on all the points
doesn't
we
matter.
want to.
It was for you, not for me.
Well, yeah. I'm going with the spontaneity, but I mean, this is a fascinating topic. But so this new CD set that you've coming out with now, like if somebody listens to it, what might they expect in terms of?
Besides healing their migraine, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Because I get weather headaches. In fact, I have a headache right now
What?
because I know it's going to snow.
You do?
Right? It's going to snow tonight, tomorrow. I
So you're in
usually get
tune with
headaches.
nature.
Yeah, and I get those. I usually people often use me as the weather person because I can feel it. I can feel the exact type of headache it is. I can feel my head filling up. So, oh my God, if I could listen, and nothing works like in terms of medication.
We'll have to try it.
None of that stuff works. So yeah. So if you can cure migraines, I'm sure you can get that going.
Well, yeah. I'm just curious. What are some of the other effects that people might experience listening to the music?
Answering both of those, it's not a prescription. It's not, this is going to cure that. It's because for me, healing, it's my company's called the Temple of Sound for a reason. The music creates sacred space. So you put it on and it creates a space, a vibration, a frequency field, and that your body can relax into a natural vibration and heal itself. And so if you're ready to heal, all you need to do is create that a healthy vibration around you and go into that space, and your body will naturally heal itself. Our body naturally heals. We cut itself, it heals. We don't do anything.
That's true.
But you can do things to help it. You can do some Reiki on it, you dress the wound, but the body does the healing. I don't do the healing, no healer does the healing. But what you can expect is that each one of these 3 CDs does a different part. The Earth Alignment CD is about aligning to the frequency of the Earth, and that is a very healthy, natural place where our natural healing can occur much easier than our disjointed, disconnected reality in the city where we just don't connect to nature, and we're connected to vibrations with our cell phones, etc., that are unhealthy. So this is, when we're in that environment, you can have this on your cell phone and you can add a nice vibration.
Wow.
The next CD is a CD of songs and chants that are designed to help inspire you to connect to the earth. One can sing in circle and do these chants together, the cycles of life, the elements, as well as inspirational song that just on an emotional level connects us. It's very important that we feel a connection to the earth, that it's real. I mean, even a single plant, it's been proven that I think it's the person that developed the lie detectors was given a plant, and he just thought, what happens if I put this equipment on a plant? And he found that if he thought of hurting the plant would freak out. He could do it from across the world and it would still. The plants, they don't have consciousness like we do, but they have plant consciousness, and they react. They interact with us. So if a plant can do it, the whole planet does. So for me, this is like they're love songs to the earth. Just like you'd sing love songs to a lover, and this is love songs for the earth. And
Wow,
so
that is
it creates
beautiful.
a heart connection to the earth. And then the third is based on a healing meditation called Ho'oponopono. Which
We know what that is.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
So powerful.
it used to be just a little 3-minute song on the Earth Song CD, But people loved it so much, and my fans have started calling it the tissue song, because every time we do it, they start crying. So, and people kept asking for it longer. It's become an hour-long symphony of this chant that just keeps
Wow.
repeating. You can put it on the background. It
Is
creates
it the
this
4 words?
vibration.
The 4 sentences?
My version of it goes like this. So sorry, forgive me. With all my heart I love you. I thank you.
Wow.
And
Beautiful.
so the idea is to sing this for the earth, to sing it to our food, to sing it to our bodies. You know, we have such an impact on the earth. No matter how hard we try, we do. And so to just be aware of it, and to this is a very powerful meditation that has healed. The ancient Hawaiians used this in the village healing. So if somebody was causing trouble, they would bring them in and they would just say these words to them as a community. And the village would say it to themselves. They wouldn't just blame the other person. They'd take it on as, okay, something's wrong in the community that we've done to create this.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
it's not like, so you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the other. And so the idea was to do this for the earth. And how powerful could that be?
Now, I remember I heard a story that Dr. Emoto, right, who we all know.
Messages from water?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, but he did that
Oh, yeah?
He did
Uh,
Ho'oponopono?
yeah.
Okay.
to
Doesn't-
Fukushima.
Oh, okay. That's
And
beautiful.
yeah. Now, I mean, I'm paranoid about Fukushima. A lot of people are, and I'm just
It's
curious.
very real.
It's a very real.
Still is.
Yeah. I mean, and when you think about what you're doing with these with this music as a love song to Earth and as a healing music, I mean, can we heal something like Fukushima with music?
That's my little offering. It'll do something. Whether it can heal the full extent, I'm not going to say that by any means. But it's extremely important that we're aware of how intense our impact is from Fukushima to, I mean, the ice caps are melting at an unprecedented pace.
I heard they're coming back this winter, though.
Well, maybe further south they are.
They're
But-
moving.
But you know, that's actually a part of it. I mean, I'm not even getting into debates about it. To me, there's no debate whether climate change, heating up, whatever. I mean, the fact is, we have an impact. What that impact is, I don't care what words you put on it. We have an impact, and we need to acknowledge that impact in order to re-harmonize with the earth. And so Fukushima is a massive impact on so many creatures, including us. And it continues to go on and will continue to go on for a long time. We can't just go into the Pacific and take the radiation out physically. So if everything is vibration, and radiation is definitely vibration, then any positive vibration we can put towards that will help. And the simple act of blessing food, I mean, it comes down to us from our ancestors. We bless our food. We've kind of lost that in the West a bit, but it's just that. We're honoring where the food came from. We're giving thanks. It changes the vibration. Just the simple honoring, the thanks, the acknowledging our impact, being thankful for the gift. You know, when a Native person killed a deer, they honored it. There was a connection to it. We just slaughter animals like completely unconsciously. And there's a vibration to that that's negative. It's not that we shouldn't eat meat per se, it's just the way we do it. You know, so I guess my passion has always been to kind of re-harmonize ourselves back to the earth. And maybe it's because it's what I needed to do for my own healing. But that's at least my little part in the big picture.
Okay, so now the CD, we're previewing it for the first time here on the show
Yeah, this
today,
is-
right? Which is
Wow.
awesome. Thank you.
It's not even quite finished. It's
Thank you.
95% there, and you've got the first copies.
So I'm just, for people that are watching this, and they may be watching it in the future because it could be on YouTube, but
Yeah.
when and how can people, if they want to get a copy of it, how can they do that?
Well, my website's always the hub for all my music, which is thetempleofsound.com. Thetempleofsound.com, and that's what I do with the music is create this temple of sound
And
you can take with you. So, and of course, it'll be on iTunes. It'll be on all the CD Baby.
And I'm just curious, Michael, because, does it make a difference? We're talking about frequency. We're talking about music that you're putting out there in the world. Does it make a difference whether it's like analog on vinyl versus digital MP3 or WAV files? Does any of that matter?
Yes and no.
Okay. There's an answer.
Absolutely, it matters. Analog music is better. It takes the whole frequency directly. All my CDs up until this point have been done analog, but they end up digital in the end.
Yeah.
Digital is the way we do things. And I find to record digitally, I need to do it differently. It's harder to get the vibration in. The easiest translation of vibration is live.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there with my instruments, my guitar, crystal bowls, and gongs, and bells, and vibraphones, and all these things, and pure direct translation of energy. I find if I'm playing a synthesizer, very hard to connect that energy. I do use
Why
them
is
from
that?
time to time. It's disconnected, so
Okay.
you're
not
pressing
whole,
a button
right?
that then plays something that was recorded by somebody in a lab before.
Okay.
Whereas you're hitting a note in that moment, and it's resonating vibration out. On all the upper harmonics, you've got all the feelings, there's energy. There's frequency information carried on the higher frequencies that are often cut off in the digital realm. So, yes,
And-
purely analog, especially live, is best. And there's an energy at a live performance that you just record that, and it doesn't quite hold the power. You can really feel that. I used to go to Grateful Dead shows, and there's like this passion that Deadheads would have, and
Yes.
they go to every show and they talk about the energy, and then they play tapes for people that didn't go, and they're like, what the hell is this? This band isn't that great.
Yeah.
But it's the energy. They were masters of energy.
Yeah.
And
it's that human element, right? It's like the individual players, the personality of the musician comes, I think, out in the performance.
And absolutely. And you don't have to be as aware that most master musicians are sound healers, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
That's why people connect to them musically. I'm not
Yeah,
talking
I
about pop
suppose
stars,
so.
but I'm talking about the musicians that really get into it and they touch people. And I love, the Pink Floyd and Jimi Hendrix and the Grateful Dead and Simon and Garfunkel and Beatles. All these people, like, they're masters at moving energy and touching people. Then you get to the digital realm, and it has its benefits and it has its problems. But yes, you can ultimately put energy through the digital media. It's just different, and you have to be aware of it. And I use other ways and tricks to kind of, for instance, I use all real instruments, and that really helps. And I play it in real time, and I interact, and I stay away from synthesizers, except in the new pop stuff I'm doing. But that's a whole other story.
Well, we'll have
Got
to
some
have you
dance
back
stuff coming up.
for that. I'd love to hear
Yes.
some of that. I just want to ask you, though, I know we've probably had this conversation before, but when you tune your A, just because of controversy, what should A be? Should it be 440 hertz or 432 or 444?
There's no should.
Yeah.
Why all these rules? Frequency is this vast spectrum, and we're arguing between like these tiny hairs of frequency. In most of my CDs, I'm not even worried about what. Some of it's A440, some of it's A432, some of it's A4, who knows what. I mean, you know, because I'm taking stuff, I'm slowing it down, and doing all kinds of stuff to it. I'm playing ancient instruments that are tuned to who knows what they are, and then I'll tune the other things to that. I'm not worried about a specific tuning. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've done a lot of research on it. I can't find any definitive evidence. I like the idea of this A432 thing, but I've not found any evidence that it truly is what they say it is. A lot of the background stuff that people into it talk about, like, oh, A440 stems from Nazi Germany and stuff, is just not true. I mean, A440 is a North American phenomenon. Europe still uses A442, A444.
And Len Horowitz is now advocating, I think, A equals 444, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's a marketing tool, oh, my music's different because it's this, or I don't know. I stay out of the battle line of it.
Yeah.
I've done my research. I would love somebody to sit down with me and convince me. I've listened to music done in A432. I've listened to stuff that people have done in one and one and one and the other, and vibrationally, I don't feel a difference. I feel, yeah, it's a little bit lower and slower.
Yeah.
So it's a little more relaxing.
Yeah.
But that's just the nature of slowing down music in order to do that. So I stay out of the argument. I think when true sound healing, you want to, if I'm doing a healing session for an individual, I'll be tuning into their frequency, whatever that is, and connecting to it, and then shifting it into something that feels right for them. So all this stuff about C being the root chakra, and it's not, to me, it's not real. It's an arbitrary thing that people put on stuff to try and teach something that can't be boxed like that. And I think the boxes are something we need to leave behind. Each individual is different. There are some definite standards. People that talk about A432 relate it to the 7.8 hertz, but then they're averaging that out to 8 hertz. And they're saying, okay, well, 8 hertz is the frequency of the earth, and then that then translates to A432. So that's not even that accurate. You know, and then we say that maybe that frequency of 7.8 hertz is shifting anyway. And that, again, I don't know whether that's a man-made phenomenon or a natural one, but we still need that frequency to be healthy. So I really believe in listening to the individual and to nature in this case as an individual, and see what they want and what comes through, and trusting something out of the box that doesn't fit, and seeing what happens, and feeling it. You can feel whether music is healthy for you or not. You can feel it, and but it's important to start listening deeper, and you'll know. You can feel it.
So let's feel some of that music right now. As we go out, we're going to play another track from the triple CD. Which track are we going to hear now as we go out?
I'm not sure, but we could try Heart's Beat is One. Is one that I put on there.
Okay.
Which is just a sweet song that's kind of, it describes sort of a bit of the process for people.
Okay. All right. Well, great to have you on, Michael, as always,
Thank
and
And
congratulations on this.
thank
And
you for
I'm
being
looking
the
forward to
first.
hearing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And of course, people can
Get
get
rid
more.
of my headache.
Yes.
We'll
There will
strap
be-
the headphones on you.
There will be a CD release coming up, most likely in September or June, depending on how quickly things
Okay.
go
Quick
out of the
question: when
tubes.
people are listening to the CD, is it best to live with listen with headphones? Speaking to what you were just saying, is it best to listen to with headphones? Is it more effective, or can you just listen in your car? Is it less effective? I know sometimes.
Some of this music I wouldn't listen to in the car at all because it's too powerful. It'll put you in a trance,
Oh.
and you won't be safe to drive.
Oh. Good to know.
The songs, sure,
You should put warning signs
Yeah.
on your.
I
on
do.
Because they
You
sell
do?
better with warning signs.
but the if you want to use music as a healing tool, treat it like a healing session. Lie down for an hour and
Okay, makes
put on
sense.
headphones or
Okay.
a quiet room and just let the sound bathe you. Feel the vibration enter you. That's where music will hold you so your body can go into a healing space. And that goes for all music.
Makes
But
sense.
if the music is you put on headphones and you get bored after 5 minutes because that means there's no substance to it. A lot of music's like white sugar. It kind of has all this fancy stuff on the outside, but inside there's no substance. So
Music diabetes.
All right. So here, now everybody gets a chance to taste this music.
Yes.
So, Michael, thanks for coming on the show. And
Thank
people can get more info at thetempleofsound.com, right?
yes.
And including when and where the release party might be.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we look forward to that.
Awesome.
So let's do that right now, and we're going to come back with Jimmy Dick.
Let's
Native
get some
Elder.
headphones
Yes.
to listen to the
Let's
song.
get rid of your headache.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right.
We'll be right back.
Fly away with me over land and sea to a place amongst the stars, flying free through the galaxy. See that little star that's our home from afar. Feel the light shining down. Feel the love all around. Feel your soul burn with the sun. Feel our hearts beat as one. Little speck of light filled with so much life seems so fragile and small. Blue and green, brown and white. See the stars align on this holy night. You are love, you are the light. All the stars shine in your eyes. Feel